Hey everybody, and welcome back to the VOD Squad. Is that what we're still called? It is episode 101.
We're still
going to
VOD
change our
Squad.
name?
I don't remember much from the last episode. Sorry, guys. I don't remember what happened.
I noticed Jimmy's still got balloons in the background.
Yeah, but they're on the floor now.
Just like Matt after that episode.
Hey everybody, and welcome back. I am Clyde, and today I am joined by Jimmy Trammell.
Hello everybody.
A sober Matthew Ross.
Iced tea is wonderful.
And Mike Aston.
Hello everybody.
Mike's got a guitar.
I do have a guitar.
Wow.
Don't really know how to play it, but
That's all right. You just need to know one
He
chord.
just wanted to copy me. It's even over the right shoulder or the left shoulder.
Shoulder. Isn't that his goal in life? Is to copy you in every way?
I thought so.
Here.
I couldn't find one that color, so I just had to settle with the red.
Well, everybody, how are you guys doing? We survived 100 episodes.
Good.
But now we got to start fulfilling stuff.
All right, I think we can do that.
Yeah, we've got a direction. We've got apparently fans. I mean, these people keep coming back and they keep hosting us and they keep giving bits and
we actually have bosses now, right?
We do. We have several bosses, and
all right,
we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I guess should we just get right into it? We got a few things to talk about this week.
Yes, we do. We have some news. TiVo has introduced a new cord cutting box for them called the Bolt OTA. It's very similar to the other Bolt boxes they've already announced previously, but this one is specifically for connecting to your local high definition antenna and getting the over the air signals. It supports all kinds of new features, including being a 1 terabyte hard drive, 4K HDR, and it has the Alexa integration. So this is the box is going to set you back about what $300. What is the price on this thing?
I think it was $278. $250 for the hardware and either $7 a month or $70 a year service plan. But you could go all in with $250 for the lifetime service, which is actually a good deal.
Yeah, just call it $500 and you're set for life.
Yeah, no, and see, and the thing that that $250 up front is a hard pill to swallow. But you figure I had a discounted TiVo rate because of an employer that I had. I kept that thing I kept paying that $3.50 a month for nearly 7 years. So I paid well over that lifetime. But then at some point I called in to cancel and they said, hey, why don't you just, for like, at that point, get for $50, go to the lifetime. And then I realized, my box had resale on eBay. If it's lifetime, you can sell them and make good money as long as it's got the lifetime on it. So
that sticks with the hardware.
Yep, it belongs to the hardware, not the person. So it is transferable. I mean, there is a process you have to go through. You go into your account and you transfer it to the new person. Mm-hmm. But I mean, looking at this, I'm confused because the whole point of the Bolt when they moved away from the Romeo was the Bolt didn't have a tuner. The Bolt eliminated the tuner.
Right.
Now they're adding the tuner back.
Yeah, but this doesn't do any of the cable card or anything like that. This is
No.
the other side of that coin. So
Yeah, but that's fine because good luck even trying to find a cable card anymore.
they're required by law. They are required by law to provide them to you if you request one. One for free too.
Yeah, but
I mean, it does seem to me like it'd be a cheap way to get to 4K, right?
It would be. I mean, so I would be totally into something like this, or the Tableau, or one of the other Channel Masters, or what, or even my Plex box and the appropriate equipment to hook up to it. If where I live, I happen to be on the wrong side of the hill, and I get no TV stations on this. I'm in the shadow, so I have to get a really tall antenna. Sucks. So suddenly, I'm not interested as much as I used to be into these things. That sucks.
yeah. I think Tom Merritt most eloquently put it on Monday. This is the TiVo Bolt he wanted 2 years ago. It's a little late, and I'm not excited. As much as I loved my TiVos, and I sold my last TiVo last year. I don't really see the appeal anymore.
Hey, TiVo.
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly what kind of product I would buy from you. Make a product that is able to run various streaming TV shows, like maybe Netflix or Hulu or YouTube TV or PlayStation View or whomever, and make a deal with them that allows you to DVR those streaming videos onto your TiVo.
Oh, my TiVo HD did that. Or my TiVo Prime.
It can
Premiere.
save a stream that's on your like Hulu or on YouTube TV.
They showed up with the over the air the episode. I mean, it would stream it
right
on demand.
I'm saying allow you to save it onto the hard drive. Just capture it, whatever, however they want to do it.
That's not a Hulu, or I mean, that's not a TiVo issue. That is the streaming provider issue.
I totally get
but
it.
That is exactly how Prime or Amazon Video Rentals worked before Prime, because go back to 2006, I could rent movies from Amazon, and then they would download to my TiVo, and then once it was downloading, you could watch it. I know there are people that found ways to get that off of the TiVo, but very few.
Well, I mean, if I take my really old, whatever you call it, the Roku with the actual analog outputs, and you plug that into some type of DVR box, technically that's legal. You can do that, and you then could say if you wanted to save something on your own piece of hardware, because that's sometimes the thing I want to do. It's not that I don't trust that they won't stay around or something like that. Sometimes I just want my own copy, and I think that TiVo could be that niche market where you could do that. Now, that being said, it's probably a small niche. But that being said, TiVo, do it. I would be interested.
Yeah, and honestly, when I started to be able to stream stuff, that download functionality felt so old and antiquated, and I never used it again. So
I get it.
Yeah. But I think the only time that would be useful is if it, like, you want to watch stuff and you're not connected. But yeah.
Would this be more appealing if the storage was cloud-based?
No, actually, I think that would be less appealing.
Yeah.
Because then you would be streaming everything. Then you wouldn't need the actual TiVo box.
If you could do it without as service without the box, but it was compatible with various TVs, then possibly.
You just described DirecTV Now, PlayStation.
Yeah.
Or Arrow. Right?
Yeah. Anybody remember Arrow?
No, the benefit of the TiVo, is it's hardware physically stored in your house, hooked up to your antenna. You wouldn't be able to record the local over-the-air stuff to the cloud. That was the whole Arrow debacle.
Well, that's not entirely true.
Well,
you would be
part
able
of it.
to. You could store your own over-the-air stuff to the cloud, but they couldn't do it for you. So that was Arrow's thing, is that they were saying that they were recording it to the cloud for you. There was an antenna per user, and it was all sanctioned and stuff. There's nothing illegal about me storing copyrighted material that I legally can obtained and have in a legally obtained format on the cloud. And so that's not Google's, no problem for Google to do that or whatever. Google can't get in trouble. I can't get in trouble. The problem is that the judge decided that what Arrow was doing was still not the same thing as me recording something and uploading it to the cloud. Which, yeah, that was a silly decision in my opinion. But
it existed actually. You know, Plex did have Plex Cloud. It just wasn't popular, and apparently they couldn't get it to work. So
right.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of Plex, Plex is getting rid of a couple more features that you probably never even heard of. Plex is sunsetting a feature called Cloud Sync, and another one called, what do they call it? Watch Later. These two features were part of the plugin ecosystem, and that they found that only 2% of users were using said plugins, so that they are now getting rid of it. So did anybody ever use these?
Oh, we're getting feedback through Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Well, we can hear you, but we can hear us.
Okay, one second, I'll fix that.
So
like particularly the Cloud Sync was useful for if you had multiple cloud devices. Like, so I had one Plex server here, and I have my portable Plex server there. Cloud Sync would do things like sync up that which ones you've seen and how far you've gotten in them. So, did anybody use anything like that? I never did.
No, and that was part of the problem. I see they're kind of going through now. Last week or the week before, we talked about how Plex was shutting down their cloud storage,
right?
And it makes sense that they're now going through and saying, yeah, what else? You know, if that's going away,
they're big cleanups.
You know, there was a lot of these features were expensive, and were old technology, needed to be updated, and had so little use that it wasn't worth the effort to go through and do that. So
when you say expensive, do you mean that you had to pay as a user?
No, expensive to them in their hosting and paying people to manage it, kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little surprised. I mean, I know that a lot of people use Plex in a fairly confined environment, but there's also a large number of people that use Plex broadly, from multiple TVs, multiple computers, from when they travel and stuff like that. So it surprises me that these features aren't a little bit more popular. And they seem like really good features on the surface, but
I mean, if people aren't using them, then it's not worth the effort and cost to go in and completely redesign it to bring it up to current standards.
For sure.
So.
I mean, Plex, back in the day, it was, pretty popular, and I think this is back when we still were buying, DVDs, right? Because it was popular, you buy a DVD, you rip it, and then use a media manager like Plex to, serve it up to your television, right? I mean, that was the big appeal of Plex. Well, fast forward to today, not too many people buy DVDs anymore, right? They buy them digitally. They buy them from Amazon or iTunes or Google Play or something of that sort, right? So, I don't know. I mean, it's, I
agree.
I think that niche is just getting smaller for Plex. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly am one of those people that doesn't buy DVDs. And when I go to the store, when I go by Walmart or Target or whatever, and I see people in the DVD section buying DVDs, it kind of surprises me. I kind of think, what are you doing? Are you crazy? But I don't think that that's really, I think that we are trending towards that state where people are not buying DVDs and stuff. But I don't think we're there yet. I think I think most people still buy physical media for a large percentage of their viewing habits when they're buying something. I mean, I think that those are selling a lot less because people are using things like Netflix and Amazon Prime and stuff for their video entertainment. But when they're buying movies, I think they're still mostly buying. And I don't have stats on this. This is purely conjecture. But I think they're mostly still buying this.
Al-Anon makes the point that that none of the services will give him a file that he can keep forever. If he's going to buy something, he wants to be able to keep it forever. And I kind of agree. I like physical media. Maybe it's just me showing my age, but I still buy CDs, even though I can listen to the same album on Spotify, and I usually do. I still buy DVDs or Blu-rays because they offer the free digital code as well. So then that gives you a best of both worlds. I can have a copy in the cloud. It may be lower fidelity, but then I've got the physical media that, services come and go. I mean, you buy something on a platform and what happens? Eventually, you may lose it all. And there's no guarantee. But physical media, unless someone comes and physically takes it or it gets damaged, look at all the... I'm pretty sure that all of your grandparents still have all of the records that they bought back in the 20s and 30s, and they still work perfectly good. That might actually be worth a couple bucks. But I mean, it's a personal thing. Some people don't like the physical media. They don't want to carry around stuff. Same reason I buy books. I like holding it, and I like touching it, and like having it.
Yeah, and I don't think that the Plex is basically is disappearing. I don't think it's going to be something that's going to disappear.
They're just getting rid of some services that aren't being used.
Right. I don't think this is any sign of Plex disappearing as far as the current dominance that they're in. So,
well, I don't think. I tend to agree with that. I don't necessarily think they're disappearing. I just think their niche is getting smaller. Right? Yeah. Will it completely go away?
I don't think so.
I don't know. Maybe eventually, but I think we're a long way from it. I think Plex will be around at least for 10 years. I'd say minimal. Yeah. And it may even go on forever.
Well, they are announcing a new service.
Yes, in fact, it's maybe that they've been thinking about exactly this thing, where they're worried about people leaving them behind. So they've been doing their podcast thing and a couple other of these streaming settings for the music one, and now they've announced Plex Web Shows, which is where they have selected a selected number of streams that are of television shows, basically on the web, that you can normally find on things like YouTube and other places, but they've now made a nice little showcase area for you to go ahead and pick on them. And my question is, when can we add the VOD squad? That's what I want to know.
Soon.
I didn't see if they were going to allow you to either. What I'm hoping is either they allow you to submit your show to them and then have it appear in for you can then search for your show and have a nice kind of marketplace for it, or if they have a way for you to maybe provide an RSS feed or something else so you can then connect to it.
Yep. We should be soon available wherever. So
very cool. I actually tried this very briefly. I just went ahead and opened it up, and I saw that I had a bunch of different shows that I've never seen before, plus plenty that I have seen before. So and it's basically a way for you to just, within the Plex interface, launch one of your favorite shows that you would normally watch online right inside there. And so it's nothing too exciting, but it is. It does mean that this is something that they're looking forward to in the future.
So I just wanted to. I did a little bit of checking while we were talking there, and so disc sales last year were 4.7 billion. Digital sales was about 2 billion. So still roughly a little better than double in disc sales, but disc sales is decreasing significantly every year, about 15% last year, whereas digital sales are increasing dramatically every year. So it's definitely trending that way, but we're still far from that model. So Plex has still got some feet on it.
And well, they're getting into new services like what we're just talking about. So exactly. I mean, that's as long as they evolve with it, I think Plex will be fine, right? But just that particular niche of being the media manager of your ripped DVDs, that particular niche is shrinking.
Yeah, and I think that it's important for them as they evolve, right? Like if they continue to evolve, they can be the media manager. Like Fire TV and these other services are doing a little bit of that. When I turn on my Fire TV, it's a media manager, right?
Yeah.
It is providing me all of the media from all of my sources: YouTube, right. HBO, Netflix,
all of your sources,
Hulu.
Unless they're Google.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, Apple, come out with this TV app that they have that aggregates. And what that does, that'll aggregate all the subscriptions that you have into one stream. Right,
unless you're Netflix,
and except for Netflix, but
exceptions.
Yeah, but I mean, if Plex were to do something like that, which that sounds like what this is, right? Of the web shows or podcasts, that kind of thing. I think that's a brilliant idea, right? I think that might be the next big thing, perhaps, in cord cutting.
All right, moving on, we have an announcement that, guess what? We can tell you the future. I can tell you now that next week on Tuesday, Google's going to announce products, and one of them will be a next generation Chromecast. It's the future.
Do you have a headache?
Yes, I have a headache. It has something to do with like last week's drinking. I don't know what's up with that. So Best Buy accidentally sold a brand new, not supposed to be sold yet, Chromecast to some poor schmuck who picked it up. It's basically very similar to the old design. It's your puck design, and it's pretty much is for the most part looks the same. It sells for the same price, $35. Might have a little better Wi-Fi and might have Bluetooth inside, something that's not been before. There's some theories on what that's all about, but we're going to be getting new products next week, and not just phones. So maybe we'll hear some more information about cool stuff.
All I can think about is when I see this thing is they need to market some way to mount it on the back of your TV, maybe with a cable. They could call it like the G-string. I don't know. Some lucky guy got early.
I'm sure it was one person just accidentally got sold a product.
I've actually heard the story. And he went to Best Buy. He asked for one, and they said they didn't have any on the shelf, but they went in the back
and grabbed one.
And they pulled it out, and it was not supposed to be sold yet. It wouldn't sell for some reason because it wasn't supposed to be sold yet. But they looked at the shelf and said, "Oh, it's supposed to be $35." I don't know why. So they just rang it up manually.
Yep.
And he went home with it, and he plugged it in, and it wouldn't turn on yet because it's not activated yet. They won't activate it until October 9th. So he has a new one that he can't do anything with right now.
But he got a smoking deal on a brand new thing. So
yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I think it looks worse. I would rather have the angular look than this kind of looking puck.
They keep the tail is a little bit longer now, but I don't know. It's morphing into a Beat headphone ear piece.
I don't.
Yeah,
I
pull up
don't.
here.
The aesthetics of it, I don't think matters all that much. As long as it's got a good UI, right, and it works well.
Well,
it
the
performs
Chromecast
well.
doesn't have a UI. That's the beauty of the Chromecast. It's just you hook it up to your HDMI and you control it from whatever device you want to cast to it. It's not a Google or an Android TV.
Right.
Yeah.
So it just catches video, is all it does?
Well, that's what the Chromecast is. It's a simple device, and then it's on your network, and you play video, and you just send it, and then it shows up on your TV.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
No user interface.
Well,
Your
but
interface
like
is your
I said,
phone or
the Chromecast came out in 2013, and at the time, it was crazy awesome because you didn't need to do anything. Anybody that came into your house, they opened up a YouTube video or Netflix or whatever, and then you just click the share, and then it would show up the Chromecast on the TV, and you say share it to there, and then you could just basically throw stuff up onto the TV. And that's why I didn't like it, is because it didn't have a physical UI, it didn't have a remote. I don't want to have to unlock my phone and do everything from your phone. But a lot of people really like it, which is why
a lot of people liked it because
ones.
they didn't have one that was available for you, a way for you to throw stuff onto any TV, and suddenly
it was
for $35.
Stupid cheap, and it was stupid cheap at the time. It was in between when they were killing off the Google TV and developing the Android TV, so it was the thing that came out in between.
Your average set-top box was $100 otherwise, so
minimum, yeah.
Well, I can't wait to pass on it.
I don't blame you. Hey, maybe you won't pass on this new box. This is Cavallo's universal streaming remote system. It's the same thing we've seen before for $400, $300. I can't remember before, but this one is a lot cheaper. Except for you will have to pay a tiny $2 a month fee in order to use the service. But here's the cool thing:
I'm excited about this.
It will take you input from 4 different devices, up to 4K on each one, display out on your 4K TV, give you a front end on each of them, and using this universal remote, after it talks to everything and figures out where everything is, we'll be able to give you exactly what you want, however you want, on whatever device that can play it and whatever service can play it, and give you all your options and remember favorites. And this is like the ultimate box as far as I have too many boxes to do the same thing I want. I don't have one that does it all. I need something that makes it all work together. This is the thing.
I want this. And I remember when we talked about this before, I really wanted it, but I was not willing to pay the price. Mike, do you remember, this isn't the one that we saw at CES. This was the lookalike. Because the one we saw at CES was like $1,500, right?
Right.
With a very custom UI. Yeah. No, $100, I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah, I remember this box. This is the one that come out. It had like the mahogany wood or something like that on the external.
Yep.
And I think I made the comment at the time. Oh yeah, well these guys should make thousands of dollars selling them, right? And, because I mean, I kind of see what they were going for with it, but this direction they're going in now, yeah. I mean, not just. I mean, okay, the lower price, yes. But they're putting, they're making it functional, less, because people don't really care if it's got mahogany wood on it, I don't think. And they don't want to pay an extra $300 for the mahogany
and $20
wood.
for the year. $20 for the year.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it is available now. I'm going to have to get one soon. I mean, this is exactly what I've been wanting because we play with multiple devices, and I absolutely hate pushing that stupid input button.
This is the get rid of all my other remotes device because it does control your TV. It does control every single one of your set-top boxes, whether they're IR or Bluetooth or anything is compatible with it, which is most anything.
Yeah.
And it is able to. I watched a guy demo it on channel, and basically you're able to either look up using the interface or talk to the remote about what you want to watch. For example, you could say, "I want to watch Stranger Things," and it will automatically say, "Well, I can show that on either your Apple TV or on your Amazon Fire Stick.
Yep.
Which one would you like to do it on? And if you like, you can have it remember that I always watch these on this thing, and it'll just forever just take care of business for you. So
Yeah,
it is that total concierge service.
This is great for someone, let's say, like Mike, that likes that or likes the Fire TV for pretty much everything, but YouTube isn't available. He can have a Roku or an Android TV or something else plugged in, not an Apple TV, because that's still running a really old version of YouTube. But yeah, you can have one of the others, and you can decide which version of the app you want to use by dictating which device. And that, if you're platform agnostic and you like to use, or you have multiple devices, then awesome.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I'm actually really interested in this. At $100, it's pretty reasonable for the hardware, and the monthly subscription's a little annoying, but it's still not too much to be terribly burdensome. But as Clyde was indicating, I have to watch my YouTube TV to watch Boise State on my WebOS that's built into my LG TV. So I'm having to switch, and like once a week I do this, and it's really annoying because I always forget, and then I got to find the remote and switch it on and use the stupid TV remote to do all this. It's just a nuisance. Not a big one, but it annoys me. And something like this would be very helpful. And to your point, Clyde, you can integrate a lot of other stuff right into it, and get voice control then for all of that, rather than just the one, or like what I can get through my Fire TV Cube.
I could run 3 Rokus.
TV. Yeah.
And if you are one of those people who are thinking to yourself that I can handle to $199 a month and not even feel it, then you should go to the patreon.com/thevodsquad and give us $1 a month or more.
When I was going to say, thanks to the patrons, we may be able. We might be able to pick up one of these as a test device, and we'll see. I smell a hardware review coming up soon, so
very cool.
What's up next?
We have Amazon has also it seems like everybody's making their announcements. Amazon has made an announcement for their brand new Fire TV stick. This one is 4K and includes all the HDR formats from HDR10, Dolby Vision, and HDR10 Plus, which is basically the highest number of features available from any of their other devices. And it's only $50. So there you go. Want the highest end Amazon TV stick?
You completely skipped the most important feature.
What's that?
They finally added a volume control for your TV.
Yes.
Volume buttons on the remote. I might very well go out and buy this just to get that.
That is the whole reason I upgraded to the Ultra, is because the power button and the volume button, I hate using multiple remotes. And other than that, I mean, my Roku 4 was fine. I don't know why it took so long for everybody to kind of get on board with that.
Yeah, my TV here, it's a Roku TV. Mm-hmm. Came with this remote. It's got the Roku stuff on it, and it's got the volume button on the side. This is the only remote for my TV. I find myself using Roku on this TV just so that I don't have to deal with the second remote because of the volume. Like, I'm okay using this remote to turn the TV on, but the fact that I have to use it to adjust the volume means I got to keep that remote nearby. And so I'm mostly using the Roku, even though I don't particularly like the interface. It drives me crazy they don't have volume buttons on any of them. I'm super excited about this. And like I said, I might very well just go buy it just for that, even though I already have 2 streaming devices that I don't use.
Well, buy the Cavallo, and now you can plug them all in.
That's right.
See, and one thing you can do, I just thought about, if let's say some of the apps don't allow multiple profiles, if you plug in, let's say 3 different Amazon Fire TVs, you can have them logged into 3 different accounts, and then just switch between them. And then
Clyde finds the loophole for everything.
I try.
That should be a show title. Somebody should make that. DirecTV has added international packages. It looks like they've added 2 different channels. The Brazilian one, and there's a channel called PFC and TV Gobo. And what world are you going to be doing with DirecTV now and international packages? I mean, why would anybody ever want to have international channels on their streaming TVs? I don't get it. No, I'm sure plenty of people.
I bet if they had Ukrainian TV, Jimmy would be all over it.
Probably.
I would, if they had Eastern European or German TV, I would be buying it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, this is obvious, right? Like, this is the next step that all of these services are going to start offering, which is, if we're delivering it via the internet, why don't we take advantage of the features that the internet can provide? That's things like easy search for your shows. It's offsetting in real time to be able to watch it from anywhere. And it's being able to watch shows from anywhere in the world. There's no longer a need to be within, cable distance or antenna distance of the source, right? Like, this is obvious.
I mean, $25 a month for 2 channels seems a bit steep.
It is.
Sling TV offers several Brazil packages, but you get PFC and 28 other channels for $35 a month. So, I think that's a hard sell. But there's somebody out there that is jumping up and down right now, saying, finally, in probably Portuguese, because it's Brazilian.
Come World Cup time or national soccer finals time, this might be the real deal, right? I mean, I don't know what those channels have, but I suspect there are a decent number of people that are excited about this. But for me, what this represents, what's important here is what this represents, which is they're starting to break down the borders. They're saying, oh yeah, we're on the internet. There's no borders on the internet. Let's take advantage of that. So while these prices are a little bit extreme, maybe these are amazing channels like the HBO of these countries. I don't know anything about them, but the price is probably a little unreasonable, a little steep, but it's a sign that we're starting to move to a place where you can now get the content you want from anywhere in multiple different ways. So I say good on it, super excited, and this definitely is a good trend.
Yeah, especially if this catches on and it becomes popular and there's competition, prices go down and more options become available. If that's not what happens, VPN?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Microsoft also had events where they announced cool stuff, and a lot of stuff there doesn't really matter to us, except for there's one piece that's kind of in our ballpark, and that is Microsoft announced new Surface headphones. Now, Surface headphones are noise canceling headphones, and they're $350, which is about the same cost as competitive models from Sony or Bose. But they also include a pretty cool little interface for you controlling the amount of noise canceling, which I think is cool that you can change the amount of noise canceling. That sounds pretty cool. And also it allows you to talk to Cortana on it, which I don't know how cool that is yet.
Considering I make sure to turn off Cortana, that's not something that is, I don't know.
Well, this is the thing now. They have the headphones from Bose. They have 2 different models. One that does the Google Assistant, one that does the Amazon Alexa, and so they have those different features available. So it made sense that Cortana would be one of the next ones to go. So we'll just give it another year, and we're going to have the Bixby headphones, and they're going to look really
but
weird.
They won't work.
But they won't work well.
Yeah.
does the idea of having an assistant in your headphones makes a lot of sense to you guys, or not really?
I mean, it does if it's an assistant you use.
Right.
Like Android Assistant in my headphones, I already have. Because, well, I mean, if I'm listening to headphones and mobile, it's connected to my phone.
Gotcha.
I use Android Assistant in my car all the time. Cortana, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. Like, I can imagine sitting, like, I listen to music and have my headphones on at work all the time. So these are appealing to me. Of course, they won't work with my Mac that I use at work.
They won't?
But presumably because it doesn't have Cortana on it, right?
No, but they are Bluetooth headphones. They should work with your Mac.
Some of the functionality will work.
Yeah,
right?
but what's the point? Why would
Not
you spend
at all.
that money to buy something that would be like?
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can see myself sitting at work, and the ability to just pull the headphones off and have it pause. That's one of the features that's built into it. I love that because, you know, what I hear somebody ask me a question at work, I pull the headphones off and then I pause whatever I'm listening to or whatever, whether it's a podcast or music or whatever. So that's annoying. And sometimes I forget. You take them off and you start a conversation. You realize you missed half the podcast or whatever. That's super annoying. So that's a cool feature. But I can also see myself saying, "Hey Cortana, when's my next meeting?"
Don't do it.
I got everybody except nobody uses Cortana. So
It's turned on.
But I can see myself saying, "Hey, when's my next meeting?" Or "What is my next meeting? Where is my next meeting?" There's a lot of simple questions that I could ask my assistant that they could help you out with, or even just like, what time is it, right? Having that built in seems like a really intuitive and good idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. I view it a little differently. I think most people, if they use an assistant, they're going to use the one that they have right here, right? And usually your Bluetooth headphones are connected to here.
Well, that's what I was saying. That's
why do you need to have it built in?
Well, that's built in because headphones are meant to be used with the Surface, and the Surface, the built-in is Cortana. So that I understand why they did it.
But
it's
does
just
the Surface not have Cortana?
Yeah, it does. No,
Okay.
it's saying, but
So my example is simply that if you're using your headphones, you're probably in some sort of interactive scenario, right? Like you're doing something. You're not sitting there on your phone. I mean, maybe you are playing on your phone, listening to music, or doing something on your phone. But the idea of not having to stop and address my phone or get my phone out of my pocket or whatever in order to ask this question, to be able to take advantage of the fact that I'm already interacting with the device.
Yeah.
It's very intuitive, and it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Mike. But the thing is, if Cortana is on the phone you're using or the device that you're using already, why do you also need to have it in the headphones? Which the headphone is going to be connected to the device, and if you just speak into the headphone that's Bluetooth connected, it should be able to respond. Right?
But
headphones don't usually have microphones, so that's really the difference here, right? Like that it's saying that they're building in a microphone to be able to do that functionality specifically.
But Jimmy's talking to whether or not Cortana is actually built in and lives in the headphones itself. So it would be the comparison would be, I have Android Assistant on my phone. I also have this Google Home right here that has Android Assistant on it. It's built into it. Even though it could connect with my phone, it's on that so that I can talk directly to it rather than having to talk to my phone. And they both will wake up if I say, the trigger word. And both devices have a history of what I did, regardless of which device I was talking to. And,
okay,
I mean, that's the main reason. So what if you're using your headphones and you are currently out of range from your Surface? You can still talk to Cortana while you're away and then back. That's the only. That's
so
the
if
only
you're out of
scenario
range, if you're out of range of your device, what are you listening to?
Why do you have to be listening to anything?
Exactly my point, right?
But
so if it's not connected, I mean, you're going to be connected to your source of smart assistant, right?
Yeah.
So why do you also need a redundant service in your
99% of the time, you're probably right.
yeah,
right?
But
So I mean, that, could you find that 1% of the time that, oh, hey, now this 1% of the time I can use it? To me, that's not a feature. I mean, that's not a feature to buy.
I think ultimately it boils down to the fact that there's a microphone on there, that the microphone communicates to the device would accomplish exactly the same benefit.
Mm-hmm.
They've chosen to put it in the headphones. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of another, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
The fact that it can sync, that you can use the headphones to communicate to a device that maybe is in your pocket or 4 feet away, 5 feet away on a desk, and it wouldn't pick up your voice very clearly. That is a cool feature, that the microphone in the headphones can pick it up. Whether Cortana is interacting from the headphones themselves or from the device is irrelevant. The fact that that's baked in, that is a cool feature. Right. And I like it. I like the headphones. They look good. If they sound as good as they indicate that they do, then this is a cool feature. Still, I'm not sure it's $350 cool, but
yeah, and I think the main reason Cortana is baked in is so that even when you're using a non-Microsoft device, you can use Cortana.
Right. That's actually a really good point. So the fact that, like, my assumption was that it wouldn't work with my MacBook.
But now that I realize that it's baked in, then it should, as long as your MacBook has internet access.
Right. So that's actually a big bonus for me. I mean, I would prefer it have the capital A built in, right? Like Amazon's assistant.
No,
because
Android.
That's what I use.
Capital A is Android.
Oh, Alexa, fine. Never mind.
Echo.
But
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I could jump on the other side of the fence and argue that, perhaps, Microsoft is trying to give us a glimpse into the future, that, they come up with some sort of, agnostic listening device there that doesn't require a smart device with it.
Yeah. I mean, how hard would it be for them to add a SIM card slot? So then, your headphones are completely autonomous. And I mean, you're just one step away from that, essentially, with these. So,
and for that price, they better be able to do it.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on, YouTube TV has added NBA League Pass, which means that if you love your basketball and like watching professional versions of it, you have the option on YouTube TV to spend about $40 a month or $250 a year, and you get the entire 2018-19 season for that price, where you can watch any of the games, not blacked out, no commercials, on YouTube TV. Now, there are going to be people out there this is going to be a big deal for, so very cool.
If you like basketball, congratulations.
Yep.
And I think that's a reasonable price for it.
All right.
Cheaper than tickets, I'll tell you that.
Cheaper than chicken.
Cheaper than chicken. I didn't mean to say that, but yep.
Expensive chicken.
Well, chicken ain't cheap. Have you tried to buy a bucket of chicken at anywhere recently? You're looking at like $20 to $30.
I was thinking the $250 price.
Oh. All right.
So here's an interesting story on Polygon about the fact that that there's actually been a spike in piracy recently, and people think it's because there's a lot of shows that may be streaming available to you can go get them in easy format, but because they're being exclusive to things like Netflix or HBO, it makes it harder for people to stretch their dollar across multiple services to get them all. So in order to watch them all, piracy is back. Probably not back as much as it used to be. Frankly,
there was an uptick. I mean, piracy never went away. It did. You did see a significant decline because, like, when HBO said, "Yeah, we don't care if you use your friend's password, just watch our stuff." yeah, it went down. But it gets to the point where you used to be able to say, well, it's streaming there, I'll just wait for a while and it'll come to Netflix or it'll show up on Hulu. But a lot of that stuff is not. And, you know, it's increasingly ending up in a walled garden. So, you know, I think it's perfectly natural, and I don't think it's doom and gloom, end of the world, end of streaming. It'll shake out.
This is, I mean, really, honestly, this is a really old story, right? Like this story took its front stage back in, what was it, 2015 or 2014, when Game of Thrones was the most pirated show in the world. And because it was exclusive to HBO and you could only get it by being a cable subscriber and paying for HBO in addition to that. So anybody that wasn't paying extra for HBO, or even paying for cable, those people didn't even have a way to watch it. So it was a very expensive proposition to get HBO if you were just watching over-the-air stuff. So there was no other way to get Game of Thrones. People were pirating the heck out of it. It was the most pirated show. HBO was proud of it. They were bragging about it. And so this is really an old story that's just kind of spreading
resurfaced.
It's resurfaced because of the popularity of other channels and other shows other than Game of Thrones and HBO, right?
Mm-hmm. So I actually think that if we were to broaden the term piracy to include password borrowing for multiple services, there would be a much more piracy going on than people think about. So, I don't think piracy is going away. Like I said earlier, we've always still got the analog hole, so piracy is going to be here forever. Arr.
All right. Well, we got one more story.
Last story is that Sony has released a new remote control for their PlayStation 4, and this PlayStation 4 remote is specifically designed to be used for their PlayStation View service. Includes a 30-day trial of PlayStation View, in fact. It's your standard remote control that does work specifically with the PlayStation 4 and gives you your basic television controls, which is kind of cool.
Including a volume button.
Really?
All I want to know is, what am I supposed to do with this now?
Oh, no!
It does have 25% increased battery life, though.
Oh,
well.
Okay.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. Hey, PlayStation remotes are nothing new. This one's slightly redesigned to work better with the PlayStation for PlayStation View. Whatever, that's cool.
I do like that it's small and stubby. That was the thing I didn't really like about the one I just held up. The one I just held up is literally like this long.
And it's just a crazy amount of buttons. And
it's a traditional universal.
This is much more simplified, which is a good thing. But I remember the original Xbox had a remote kind of like this too. So, but I don't think they really had any real services except for watching DVDs on it back then. So.
Well, that's what it was for originally.
Right.
Really, the cool thing here is that you pay $25 for a remote and you get a month of PlayStation View, which costs more than $25. So if you're interested in PlayStation View, go buy the freaking remote because it's
use the subscription and then sell the remote without the code.
Yeah.
No. You see,
For
I've got
$10.
this pile of remotes back here. I just keep buying them for every.
Because there is somebody out there that wants a PlayStation View remote specifically to watch PlayStation View on their PS4 easier, and they will pay half price.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
that's good.
So in theory, you can get a month of PS View for like $10 to $15.
Yeah, check eBay. You might start seeing cheap remotes out there.
Remember the days when we used to use knobs on televisions?
What's a knob?
That's
I'm showing my age again. I guess
the name of a Hobbit.
I remember the day when when the remote was, hey, Michael, go change the channel.
Yep.
I was
exactly.
the remote because I was the little kid.
Ka-chunk. Ka-chunk. No, go back. Alrighty. I think that's it. So, hey, this is the point in the show, new point in the show, where we say we have a Patreon. And we want to thank the early adopters that have jumped on board. And yes, Media King 909, I just called myself a knob. Or he called himself a knob. We were all knobs at some point. So yeah, we are figuring out ways, good rewards to thank those that are supporting us. And, you know, we don't do advertising. We haven't done any advertising for the last 2 years. We wanted to get to a point where, you know, we thought we were giving you guys something worthwhile, and so we've got the Patreon now. If you know, there are things that like we want to do, reviews, test hardware like we talked about earlier with the Cavallo, and you know, if you got a extra buck a episode or even a buck a month you can spare, that would be very helpful at letting us do more of the stuff that we want to do. And like I said, I mean, right off the bat, Al-Anon and Bad Weave heeded the clarion call last week and jumped on board, and they have my eternal gratitude.
Let's put it this way: the Clyde every year goes to CES and does a lot of searching into what's new and cool.
Mike does too,
and Mike went at least the 2 years, and it looks like Jimmy might be going this year. So, if you were thinking about us and thinking, hey, you know what? If I bumped into these guys at CES, I'd buy them a drink. Well, go ahead, buy them a drink. I'm sure they'd be happy to spend that money on drinks when they're at CES. That's cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be non-alcoholic though, unless Jimmy's there.
Not for me. It won't be non-alcoholic.
Like I said.
Usually would be non-alcoholic for me too.
Jimmy's like, no, buy them alcoholic drinks too, because then I'll drink all three of them.
Now you got it.
There you go. And that is patreon.com/thebod squad. I promise we will be using that money responsibly. Oh, and I am working so that going forward, patrons will be able to get their custom RSS feed. And we'll that should be available this week, hopefully. If not, it will be soon. I promise. So, all right, guys. You know what? It's time to check in with Big Voice Jay.
Ooh.
Welcome to your BT Movie Draft Minute, presented by DiamondClub.tv for the week of September 30th, 2018. I'm your host, Big Voice Jay. There's only one movie out, and there's only one team on the board, so let's keep it short and sweet. Teams Walking Drunk, Game Night, The VOD Squad, Have a Drink, and Movie Party are all tied for last place. And in first place is Team Ritual Misery, with $28 million, thanks to Night School. That's your Movie Draft Minute. All totals accurate as of September 30th, 2018.
I do want to say that, yes, Big Voice Jay said Walking Drunk, and that was not his fault. Whoever made the doc forgot that we changed the team, and it was Drunk Kids Gaming.
Well, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so how do you guys feel? How do you guys feel about your slate?
I think we got a good shot to do well. I'm predicting we will go at least third this season.
I feel confident in top two, personally. I think there is a very solid chance that we win.
I think we're screwed.
I'm totally set on us winning.
I think we're screwed because Alita Battle Angel changed their date, and we're going to lose it.
Yep, you're not going to have... Yeah.
Sorry, sad news.
Oh, yeah,
Alita
you
Battle
haven't been
Angel
paying attention to the Discord.
Moved.
We've been talking about that since
it's now coming out
Friday.
in March or something. It's not coming out.
It's moved to February 14th, which is the day before the league ends. So right now we don't know what's going to happen. We're waiting on the Chat Realm or the Night Attack League to make their decision. If they extend the winter, then you guys are okay. If they decide they don't want to extend it by 4 weeks, then they're going to assign you guys
substitute it for something else.
Substitute.
And I have made my suggestion. I went ahead and threw a suggestion out for what the replacement should be, and because I don't think anything will do as well as Alita would do. But my suggestion is that if we have to take another movie in place of it, I would pick out Hunter Killer, which is a action thriller, submarine thriller movie. So it actually looks
just
decent.
Add in the value of Fantastic Beasts again.
Yes, there you go. Well, obviously, since we only spent $17 on Battlelita? No, $16 on Battlelita. So Alan 666 asked what our slate was
I
for
just
this
put
year.
it in the chat.
Yeah, okay.
But so
we have Goosebumps 2, which I don't know how well that'll do. Serenity, which I basically picked up because almost nobody wanted it for $9. Overlord, which I think will actually do pretty well. It's going to be a sleeper hit. Fantastic Beasts is going to be easily our highest winner. That's easy. That's great. Alita Battle Angel was also going to be a pretty good amount of money, especially for $16. Robin Hood was I think a steal for $12. And Welcome to Marwen. I watched the trailer for that. That looks really interesting. Now, the funny thing is that comes out the same date as this is why Alita Battle Angel changed their date. There were all kinds of movies coming out on that date and a whole bunch of big ones, too. So we were talking about having Bumblebee and just a couple days before Mary Poppins and Aquaman all happening right at the same time. So that's why Fox decided to move Alita out of that time slot. So
yeah. And it should be said that the better slate would be Movie Party. Oh, hey, thank Eisner Guy for the following. We've got Bad Times at the El Royale, Widows, not to be confused with Windows, Second Act.
Yeah, you won't. It's basically the same.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Now that could be big, but of course
that's the wild card. That's the wild card. I think Bad Times at the El Royale is going to do okay because of the names, and it looks fun. It's got kind of a Sin City kind of thing about it. So, no, I mean the cast and the noir kind of thing. So yes, I think it'll. I'm thinking like 150.
If you're lucky.
Oh no,
well, I think that's like an
okay.
$80 million movie.
Yeah.
But
so I saw the trailer of the Nutcracker today, and that looks like a pretty interesting take of an old story, right? And it looked pretty well. So that one, had I seen the trailer before we had the movie draft, I probably would have campaigned for that one a little harder.
It was like the second to last movie though, which was really the killer.
Yeah, we were done.
Like I would have definitely been in on that one as well, but it was like the 28th movie, and so it was like it went to who had the money left.
Yeah. The point I was going to make though was I was not feeling awesome. I was feeling, I had an okay slate until the end when they let me have First Man. First Man was the one movie that I absolutely wanted. I didn't think I was going to get it, and then I think Have a Drink gave it to me.
Yep.
And that's the one I think is going to be potentially a big. If I win, it's going to be because of that movie.
Yeah. That Bumblebee also can't stumble for you.
Bumblebee, and On the Basis of Sex. We know the Ruth Bader Ginsburg movie is going to do like 200 million negative. I mean, they're going to owe 200 million. But I'll make up for that with Bumblebee, First Man, and whatever Spider-Man, which way that goes.
I think you'll break even on Bumblebee. I think for 22, I think you're going to be fine. Spider-Man, I think that's going to be not do as well as you hope it will because just a lot of people have a lot of trouble with this kind of genre of animated film. If it's doesn't have Disney in front of it, it's hard.
Those animated films are normally direct to DVD, so this is the first time in a while that they've released this kind of animated film.
But this one, a lot of people are excited about it, and I mean, from the trailers. Every time I was in the theater and I saw that trailer, people were like, "Oh man, dude, I gotta see that. We're gonna come see that."
Yeah.
There's been a lot of. I mean, Brian has been gushing about it ever since he saw it. I mean, and I'm not gonna go see it, which means it's probably gonna do okay.
I don't know. I tend to agree with these guys because you got Aquaman, which is another DC character.
Yeah, but that's
coming out
DC.
not
Spider-Man
far
is Marvel.
Right.
Marvel does good in the theater. DC does good on TV.
And this is really, like I said, these are normally direct to DVD. This is Marvel experimenting. They're saying, we make, and to be fair, these movies are often really good. I've watched a number of the Marvel animated movies that were released direct to DVD on various streaming services, and they are often very good movies, as are the DC animated movies, which are generally far, far better than the DC live action movies. So this may be a very good movie. This is Marvel dipping their toes into the water saying, hey, what if we release it to a theater instead of going direct to DVD? So this is an experiment. If it works, we'll see a lot more of these. I think it will do okay. I do not think it will do outstanding. I think
it's not going to do summer numbers, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think winter is the perfect time for it.
Yeah. I think 190 is a stretch on that, which is basically what you paid as if it was going to make 190 million. I think that'll be a stretch, but I do think you will get close.
Yep. I'm guessing 150 with room to grow. So
yeah. Maybe. I think the two where you stand to where the two biggest wild cards in my opinion are Bumblebee and First Man. You paid a lot for Bumblebee, and geez, every single Transformers movie gets worse and worse.
Yeah,
and
but
worse.
this is the one. This is the one that actually will bring people back because
I agree. I think more people will see this than the last one, but the last one did pretty abysmal. I mean, it did like
that was Mark Wahlberg and weird. This is a story about a girl and her car, and this is the time where people are clamoring to see strong women lead role characters. So
sure,
in my work, like I said, it's a wild card, right? Like it is a wild card because Transformers has gotten so bad, but it definitely could break out because it looks like it's a departure from the existing, just wild, amazing things happening on screen with lots of special effects and no story of the more recent Transformers to something where there's a story, there's meaningful characters and people and stuff. And, if they stick to that, it could do well. I haven't seen enough of the trailers and stuff like that to know for sure if they're going to go the right path. And then First Man, I don't even know. It's conceptually, it could be good, like you said the other day, it's Apollo 13 for
a new generation.
For a new generation. And Apollo 13 did well, but Apollo 13 had Tom Hanks. I mean,
this has the new
none
Tom
of this
Hanks.
cast looks of it. What?
This has the new Tom Hanks.
Joe Normal? I don't know. I don't even know.
What's his face? Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds, isn't it?
No.
Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I didn't realize Ryan Gosling was in it.
Ryan Gosling plays Neil Armstrong.
Oh, that's who that guy is. I was like, I kind of recognize him. He's gotten old.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was that old now. Is he still going to pull in the ladies like his other movies? I guess so. Maybe it'll do well because it'll pull the ladies in. And
what you got, Matt?
So I just wanted to say briefly that I think everybody has actually really good slate. I don't think there's anybody on here who's got absolutely like no chance at all. I think everybody has a couple of movies that if they really rock it, they could totally.
Game Night?
Game Night is probably one of the best. Bohemian Rhapsody, that's going to do very well.
No,
Nutcracker,
Bohemian Rhapsody's not going to do that great because, as I said, I have been waiting for this movie all year.
Okay, to the Clydes, I agree, and that has so far proven true.
I mean,
but I don't
it's
think
going to make some money, but it's not going to be great. And
Nutcracker,
that's sad. That makes me sad.
Nutcracker in the Four Realms could definitely make a decent amount of money. I think that the Pain Point 6 was about.
I'm not going to be seeing that one, so it'll do okay.
Yeah, I think Game Night has a decent slate. I don't think it's great. They've got a couple of,
Creed.
I mean, Creed 2 was a great movie. It was really good, but it didn't do phenomenally well. It did like 100 million total. So while I would have thought on the surface that Creed had done 150, 200, but it just barely broke 100. So, you know, if Creed 2 matches its predecessor, and sequels seldom exceed the original, it's only going to do 100 million for him. Glass potentially could do extremely well, especially in this time. I'm definitely going to see Glass.
Yeah, Glass is going to be a relatively big hit, especially for an M. Night Shyamalan movie. So
I'm not going to go see it, so because I never made it through Unbreakable. So
Unbreakable.
I absolutely loved that movie.
So that's what I'm saying. It'll do okay.
And
so, I think the one that I think has the biggest risk of coming in last, the most likely at the bottom, is Drunk Kids Gaming.
Because Holmes and Watson, Venom could go either way. Johnny English, not a chance. Aquaman, who knows?
Yeah, Aquaman, it's a DC movie, so unless it turns out to be the rare good one, it's
DC
not going
movies
to do well.
Almost always have always so far come in with at least 200,000. So
200,000 is right.
200 billion. So they'll make some money on that. Venom, I suspect, will have an excellent first weekend. The question is, will it continue? I don't know about that. Johnny English isn't worth the $6 they spent for it. Holmes and Watson actually looks hilarious.
It looks great. I want to see it. It's not going to make money.
Okay.
It's a Will Ferrell movie. It's one of the Will Ferrell silly movies that are awesome to watch, but don't really do much.
My problem with some especially Will Ferrell and I forget his name, the other gentleman who's in the show. Oftentimes it's just so much cursing and swearing. It's just
can't take the family.
It can't take the family. But this looks like, according to what I'm seeing in the trailer, that it might just be raunchy but not obscene, and might be fun.
Yeah. So it's not Step Brothers, but it's Step Brothers, but
with Holmes and Watson.
Yeah.
So if they tread that line correctly and are able to make it funny enough for most of the family to go see, but not so crazy enough that not everybody and that word gets out that yes, everybody should go see it. That actually could be a pretty good hit, and I know it's showing for $30. They spent $30 on it. That's because it was like one of the last movies, and people had money left over to burn. So,
I suspect this is $100 million movie.
Maybe.
Suspect
if Holmes and Watson makes $100 million, I call that a success.
I'm being optimistic with $100 million. Yeah.
I think it's going to do
best it does
80 to 100 in there someplace. Yeah.
I think Aquaman does 200. I think Johnny English does $200. Had to clarify that because the other ones I was doing in millions. That one is just dollars. And then I think Venom is probably going to do about 200. So I think they're looking at about 300 or about 400 million total, maybe 500 if they're super lucky. Yeah. And I think most of the rest of us are sitting at 600 to 800 million.
Okay, poor game.
I don't think anybody's going to get that high, being the winter, because everything it typically performs a lot lower. I think the high is going to be like 5, maybe 6, but we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
I'm more than happy to shoot for $1 billion again.
If we had Battle Angel Alita, I would bet that we would approach the 800. That's my prediction. Without Alita Battle Angel, I'm thinking we're gonna hit 600. Easy.
It depends on what we get to replacement, or if we actually get it at the end of the draft. So we'll see.
Yeah. I'm being very optimistic about our movies because they're the best movies that have ever been planned, and I'm going to see every one of them at least 30 times.
Including Goosebumps 2 and Serenity?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just remember, that is not the Serenity that some people thought it was.
No. It's totally Serenity. They're re-releasing it. It's got new scenes and everything, stuff you haven't seen before. Go see it now.
It's the sequel to Firefly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the Firefly Serenity you were wishing for.
You know, and honestly, and Al-Anon brought it up earlier. I think if you guys have to lose Alita Battle Angel, I think the movie that it should be replaced with is the Deadpool re-release PG-13.
How in the world can they PG-13 that? Although you don't see his mouth, so I guess that's pretty easy. Never mind.
Afterwards, I'll send you a link. There's a British show that did that with Badfellas. They made a clean version of Goodfellas, and just look up Badfellas, and you'll find it. It's pretty funny.
That honestly could be absolutely hilarious.
But that's what I'm saying. It could be hilarious for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. But hey, it's Deadpool. All it has to do is be funny.
Yeah. All right. Hey, let's do our. Before we get too late, we're already 20 minutes.
I know.
Who's got? Anything?
I'll go first. So I finished up the series Ozark, on Netflix. Excellent ending. I liked it. Can't wait for the next season to come out on that one. I also, over the weekend, watched Solo, and I thought Solo was great.
Yeah,
I thought it was a very good movie.
Of course, loved it. It's the first Star Wars movie I loved.
Yeah, and take it with a grain of salt. I like almost any Star Wars movie, right? But I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it, and like the acting in it. I like some of the filling in some of the backstories of, okay, so how did
no spoilers.
How did some of these things happen? How did they come to be? And this movie answers a lot of those questions, right? So, so I really enjoyed it, really like it. If you haven't watched the movie yet, I recommend it. And you're a Star Wars fan. I do have to put that caveat there.
Well, even if you're not a Star Wars fan, like me, I loved it.
You need to be a Star Wars fan. If you're not a Star Wars fan, this is a great space heist movie, right? Like,
yes,
it will entertain anybody. I was absolutely floored by the abysmal reception of this movie because I didn't talk to anybody that didn't at least enjoy it. Almost everybody I talked to liked it or loved it, and I thought it was great. And it has broad appeal. Even my wife, who is tolerant of Star Wars,
and she married you. I'm so sorry.
That's why she was able to marry him, because she was tolerant.
Yeah. She really enjoyed the movie. She thought it was really good. So I think it floored me that it did so poorly. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I think it was a great movie.
Yeah. What was the release date of that movie when it first came out?
Like
Do you remember?
March.
It was March, or was it in May? But yeah, I mean,
Oh,
Maybe
you know
maybe it was just the timing of it, right?
No, it was people were just angry
May
about it.
10th.
Yeah,
Angry. Why?
Because they're
dude,
angry about
it's
the
people
previous
on
Star
the
Wars
internet.
movie.
I think it was a combination of things, like there's been a lot of Star Wars movies released in the last few years, so there's a little bit of fatigue. There's also a lot of people were unhappy with The Last Jedi. I thought it was a good movie. That I did have some complaints, but a lot of people had some serious issues with The Last Jedi, and then it's not Harrison Ford, and there's just a lot of things that people were unhappy about, and they didn't even see it. That's the thing. Like, people didn't go see it to even decide that they didn't want to see it. They were just lashing out. They were boycotting the movie for those reasons.
Yeah, and I will say I think it did come out way too quickly after.
Yeah, it was May 25th.
Yeah,
it came out on
the
day.
It wasn't even 6 months after the last movie, So.
Well, I mean, I've liked all the Star Wars movies, even the Rogue One that a lot of people complain about. The only one, the worst Star Wars movie there was Episode 1, right? I mean, yeah, they just.
I would disagree. Episode 2, I would say, is worse, but okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I would say Episode 1 was. And Episode 2 is probably close.
I was going to say 4, 5, and 6 because there's not enough Jar Jar.
It's hard to decide which of the first two is worse. I agree with you on that. Like they're both very close. I think 1 personally is my choice. 2 is really close to it. 3 wasn't awful, though. I didn't really like it either.
I thought 3 was great. Right?
Really?
3 was great, and even 1 and 2 I enjoyed, even though I would say those were the worst 2 of the series, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the thing is, I mean, if you're a fan of that genre, right, then, I mean, just the Star Trek went through the similar thing, right? Where they did that movie, of a different time, and they tied it in with Leonard Nimoy coming in, right? I could see them. I guess they'd have to write it in some sort of way, right? But wouldn't it be interesting if they did something similar to that with Star Wars and have Harrison Ford do some sort of tie?
He will not.
Don't give JJ Abrams any ideas. Stop it now.
Yeah, no, that's the whole reason that he does the thing he does in that one movie, is because that was the only way he would come back. Was if his character.
I was just a big Leonard Nimoy fan, right? Yeah, and so I mean, I really enjoyed that. But I mean, yeah, I think a lot of the Star Trek fans, complain about that movie in much the same way, right? And when I would watch it, I just I don't quite get what you complain about. I thought it was great.
I tend not to put much credence in people on the internet, because people on the internet like shows like this. They can't have any taste.
Please send all your comments to Clyde at, I don't know.
All right.
Yes.
I just wanted to say briefly that I did finally get my phone back. I'm very happy about that. It finally came, and so that story is basically over for now until next week, where I will find out if I'm going to be getting a new one. We haven't been watching on very much TV recently, but we did sit down and watch the first episode of Magnum P.I., which is a relaunch of that old show that they used to do on TV. It's trying so hard. I mean, it's trying so hard that it is actually pretty awesome. The question is, can it sustain?
Let me ask you.
We will give it the standard 3 episodes before we give up on it. So
compared with Lethal Weapon, how do you think it holds up?
Having only seen one episode, I would say
After the first episode of Lethal Weapon.
Okay, so almost as good. That's what I want to say.
So here's the thing. Like, I'm definitely interested in seeing this. I watched not Magnum PI. I watched the new MacGyver show.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a huge fan of the original MacGyver series. And I don't think that it's the same show, right? It's got a lot of the same concepts, but it's very different. I enjoyed both shows a lot, and I feel the same way about Lethal Weapon, right? The Lethal Weapon TV show has the same kind of general idea, but it's very different because it's different people. And the way they interact while they have they're assigned certain personalities, like that are similar to the personalities, it's very different. And so I really enjoy both the original Lethal Weapon shows and this TV series. I'm hoping that we can get the same. So will a diehard Magnum PI fan love this? Maybe not, but it still can be a great show.
Yeah,
and as long as you're willing to set that aside.
So they set everything up so it's gonna be, there's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna really like it. I mean, here's the thing. Here's my one admission to this. I've never watched the original Magnum PI.
What?
I just never have.
I wasn't a fan.
How can that even happen?
I mean, it would come on and be like, I'm not watching this. I'm going to do something else, and I wouldn't watch it. So
Dun, 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 dun.
So
I mean, dude was a
judging
freeloader, like driving around somebody else's car. He always bugged me. I was like, and that mustache.
I can accept not liking the show. I just can't accept that you.
Actually, I did like it. I just don't know if it can sustain that level of what it is, because you have to watch the episode to understand what I'm trying to say, because it literally is going way over the edge in every way, shape, and form.
From what I heard, they made an effort to anchor it to the original show to give you the things that the people expected, and then they destroyed those things as a way to say, okay, now we are free to do our own thing.
Yeah, I guess.
But
so I just want to know one thing: is the setting still in Hawaii?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. It should be fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
Hawaii
5.0 did the same thing, right? Like Hawaii 5.0 was the first one to do this, or at least currently, right? Like
another show I never watched the original of,
and I watched a few of the original. I liked it, but it was just one of those where, like, timing wise, it never synced with me. So I've only seen a number of episodes, but this one I really enjoyed the new Hawaii 5.0. It's very, very different than the original, but it's still really good.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I enjoyed that one too. Yeah, the newer Hawaii 5.0. That's a great show.
They're doing a great job with these reboots, and keeping a little bit of the flavor, but not being totally married to the old shows is exactly the way they should approach it.
Mm-hmm.
Lethal Weapon Season 3 started this week, and I don't know, because the way they ended Season 2...
Yeah, I think that basically they were done. I'm done with that show. I'm not even starting.
Give it a chance. No, I will say I watched the first episode. Give it a chance. I don't know, but I didn't. I went into the show thinking I was gonna hate it anyway, so I may as well. I'm gonna give it a couple episodes, and because the new character, I really like him. I like him in everything. He's one of. I think he's a very underrated actor. And then, but yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll have to. We might check it out.
It's funny seeing Stifler show up as a cop in LA, but but I was gonna say I started watching a show this last week on Hulu called The First. Did you guys hear about it?
I saw it advertised.
Yeah, Sean Penn, and it's a manned mission to Mars. I went into it thinking, okay, your traditional sci-fi, whatever. It is not the show that I thought it was, but wow, it actually... I don't know how to describe it. It's one of those things you just have to watch it, and you get to the end of the first episode and go... I gave it a few days before I watched the second episode. I ended up watching like 5 episodes yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Because once I got about 3 to 4 episodes in, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm okay with what's going on, and it is. I don't want to say anything about it because
you're doing so might ruin it.
Yeah.
And what's it on?
Hulu.
Hulu. Okay.
It's called The First. So it's about the first manned mission to Mars. So it's, essentially like a SpaceX style company, with in the near future, very near, in the fact that they're like driving modern current vehicles that have
You're just
like weird.
getting excited
Mars?
about The First Man, so you had to watch The First.
Well, but that's the thing. I was confused. I didn't know what this was. I was like, I saw it and went, wait, I heard something about this, and I was thinking it was one or the, and I watched it, and yeah, I think I'm in.
But between those two, one of those was a hoax, though, right?
Well, this one definitely was, but nobody would let Sean Penn go into space. That dude's unpredictable.
Does Sean Penn ever say, "Oh, help us, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're our only hope"?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh.
Did you have something, Mike? Or
I'm just watching, Netflix stuff, watching The Arrow right now. I did finish, I think I mentioned, but I finished Iron Fist season 2.
How was it?
And I really liked it. I thought it was great, better than the first season, and I enjoyed the first season. So I'm on board for the Iron Fist stuff now. It's good stuff. I liked it.
Yeah, I keep hearing you say that. I got to go back and give that a second chance. I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes of the first season and just kind of dropped off after that.
That was the one that I kind of sort of liked.
Yeah, they did better with pacing in the second season. This is the thing that they've struggled with the Netflix movies, is that they've had pacing issues. The Netflix Marvel is what I meant. Shows they've struggled with pacing, and there's some bits that are very dialogue and drama heavy, and they don't move the story along as much as they could with that dialogue. It's just almost conversation for conversation's sake. They do quite a bit better in the second season, though. There's still a little bit of that. They compressed it a little bit. They took 3 episodes out and they made it into 10 episodes. So that's definitely was a good choice. They definitely didn't need any more people talking about stuff that they haven't done yet or that they're going to do and planning. But,
I really enjoyed all of the Defenders, right? Daredevil was the first one. Thought it was great. Both seasons are great on that one. And then I watched, and that inspired me to want to watch the Jessica Jones, which not quite as good as Daredevil, but still pretty decent. And then I watched the
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage. I watched that one. That one was excellent too. I watched the first season. I've yet to watch the second.
I had no interest in Luke Cage.
Yeah, Luke Cage I thought was great. It was. The villains in Luke Cage was really good, right? And really, in all honesty, the superheroes in these Defenders, what we're talking about, if you're interested in watching these shows, the superheroes are okay, but the villains is really what makes the shows, right? That's what makes it interesting, is the villains in these shows.
Yeah. And generally true of most movies with villains.
Yeah.
If it's a good villain, it makes a big difference, but a bad one.
Yeah, absolutely. And they always have, in most of these shows, or at least the ones I've watched anyway, that you'll have the hero, you'll have the villain, And then you'll have some character that kind of is sometimes a villain and sometimes a good guy, that kind of thing. So they throw these kind of things in there, just to make it, interesting. And then of course they've got the Defenders, where those four, come together, right, and make the show the Defenders, right? And that one was excellent series as well. And then the Punisher, I think the Punisher goes along in there with that. I enjoyed the Punisher as well. So anybody that's interested in it, yeah, the Punisher is pretty good. The Punisher was played by the guy. If you watch the first couple of seasons of The Walking Dead, he was like the partner of the main character.
He was the dude that was banging dude's wife.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I saw the season 2 of Daredevil, so the Punisher's in that.
I didn't realize that they had come out with
right.
the season of the Punisher. I thought we only saw the Punisher in Daredevil.
No, they did make a season of the Punisher. It was good. It was pretty decent. Yeah, not bad.
All right. Well, we are almost 2 hours in, so let's wrap this up. If you are watching this live, thanks for sticking around. Head on over to tbs.showbot.tv to vote on the channel, or vote on your title that you want.
Title.
The link's in the chat, and there's still time to get in another title or two. If you are not watching this live, if you're catching this after the fact, we come join us. This is where the fun happens. We go live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central on Twitch. You can also reach out to us at the VOD Squad on Twitter, or send us an email, thevodsquad@gmail.com. With that, I think let's go ahead and wrap this up. Head into the post show after squad. Thank you guys. We will see you later.
Later.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.